How did someone prove that they knew absolutely nothing about something? July in Florida is basically Mother Nature rolling dice to decide which city gets destroyed that week. Storm warnings were constant. The news was flashing cone of uncertainty graphics every 5 minutes, and our neighbors were already panic buying bottled water like it was currency. My family had a plan though. We were leaving for 3 weeks to visit my aunt in Colorado. Perfect timing. Escape hurricane season, get some mountain air, and not worry about our house becoming beachfront property. My mom, Laura, immediately went into hurricane prep mode. She pulled out supply checklists that looked like they'd been printed on dial-up internet, double-checked flashlights, batteries, canned food, you name it. Then she brought up the obvious step, putting up storm shutters. Our house had massive windows facing the coast, basically like inviting a Category 4 storm to throw a bowling tournament in our living room. This is where my dad, Craig, decided to flex his expertise. The man had lived in Florida for exactly 2 years after moving from Ohio, which apparently made him a hurricane scholar in his own mind. He waved off Mom's suggestion like she just told him we should cover the roof in bubble wrap. Laura, he said, these are military-grade, titanium-reinforced, impact-resistant windows. You could drop a bomb on this house and the glass wouldn't crack. Mom blinked at him. Craig, no window is bomb-proof. He pulled up his laptop like he was presenting a TED Talk. He started scrolling through random manufacturer websites, highlighting technical words he clearly didn't understand. See this? Impact-resistant, rated to withstand projectiles. Projectiles, Mom repeated. Craig, that means pebbles, not a palm tree flying at 120 miles per hour. He smirked, dead serious. A hurricane wouldn't even dare touch our house. Even at 15, I knew he was talking nonsense. Mom muttered something about Darwin Awards under her breath and let it go, but I could tell she was seething. Dad, meanwhile, was strutting around like Tony Stark had personally installed our windows. So we left for Colorado with not a single shutter up. 3 days later, Hurricane Patricia slammed into Florida with 140 miles per hour winds and a massive storm surge. We sat in my aunt's living room watching the Weather Channel, seeing reporters in rain jackets get knocked sideways by winds, and then our exact neighborhood on screen. The words total devastation crawled across the bottom of the screen. The silence in that room was brutal. Mom looked like she wanted to strangle Dad with the phone charger. I just sat there imagining my PlayStation bobbing in salt water. The flight home was even worse. Dad tried making nervous small talk, but Mom didn't say a single word. It felt like we were flying to a funeral. Hours. When we finally pulled into the driveway, the scene was unbelievable. Half our titanium super windows had completely blown out, shards of glass covering the yard like confetti from hell. The other half were cracked into webs so bad they looked like cracked phone screens blown up to life size. Inside, the damage was catastrophic. A 4-foot water line ran along every wall, showing exactly how high the floodwaters had climbed. The living room wasn't a living room anymore. It was a swamp. Couch cushions were floating like lily pads. The TV was ruined. My PlayStation and gaming setup were sitting underwater like they'd been sacrificed to Poseidon. But the cherry on top, my dad's office, his precious computer desk, where he'd spent hours researching our indestructible windows, was now hosting actual crabs. They'd crawled in during the storm surge and decided to set up camp in his keyboard. Mom just turned to Dad, deadpan, and said, "Tell me again about our amazing windows, Craig. I swear, I've never seen a man shrink so fast in my life." The next day, the insurance adjuster showed up. Dad tried to explain his theory about our impact-resistant, military-grade glass. The adjuster started laughing halfway through. "Buddy," he said, "these are standard contractor windows. The impact rating is for bird strikes, not hurricanes." Dad didn't even argue. He just stared at the ground while Mom handled everything. The insurance claims, the contractors, the entire rebuild. For the next 6 months, Dad basically lived in the doghouse, nodding silently while Mom ran the show. When the new windows were finally installed, they came with proper hurricane shutters. And you better believe Craig was the one outside on the ladder, sweating bullets, installing every single one before Mom even had to ask. That's how my dad learned the hard way that knowing absolutely nothing can cost you a living room, a PlayStation, and the respect of your entire family.